The question is, can you show a picture of a tree inhabited by two birds? The picture excavated from the Indus Valley civilization and related explanation of the metaphor. Interesting question. This is a representation of the philosophy, you may call it Vedic philosophy, and Indus Valley civilization. The people at that time, they understood it, and this was one of the plate that was found there. So here is the plate, I think, that I picked up from Google Images, and you have to see it carefully. This is a tree, and these are the leaves, and this is one bird, and this is another bird. Now one bird is eating some fruit of the tree, while the other bird is observing it. So on the lower side, you see this is an artist's depiction. You know, one bird eating a fruit on a branch of a tree, and the other bird is merely watching it. So this is a metaphor. The origin is in the Rig Veda. This is the first volume, then 164 section. Then this is the mantra passage number 20, 2020. And just for sake of the story, I will be, in another next slide, I will be showing 21 also, just to bring things in the context. The passage goes like, Dwa Suparna. So if you are not familiar with Devanagari, you may read from the Roman script, but it's easier for me from here. So Dwa Suparna Sayuja Sakhaya Samanam Veksham Payishashvajate Tayo Anya Pippalam Swadvatti Anashnananyo Abhi Chakashiti. So this, of course, there is a metaphor here, but let's look at the literal meaning of these words. So Dwa is two birds. Suparna means with beautiful wings. Su is always positive. Sukh, like Su is a prefix. Parn is the wings. So Suparna means beautiful wings. Sayuja, Yuja is a connection, like the word yog is also coming from the root yuj. Sayuja means together. So they are connected together. So they have two birds with beautiful wings, and they are kind of connected, you know. And which way? Sakhaya. Sakhaya, this sa means, you know, togetherness. So that same sa is a prefix here. Kha is living in the world. So sakha means, you know, like two buddies or two companions. Samanam is common, you know. It's like English word common, just, you know, because they chose the syllable C. C, then instead of sa, it becomes ka. So if you look at it, samanam, it becomes kamanam, common, you know. Viksham is the tree. Paishashva jate, they inhabit, you know. So they inhabit the same tree, and they know each other, and they have beautiful wings, and they are companion. They never separate from each other. They are always together. Now, tayo anya, out of the two, one of the two, pippalam swadu, this is fruit And swadu is delicious, tasty. Ati means to eat it. So out of these two, one eats the fruits of on the tree. The tree has fruits, and one of the bird is eating it, and it is tasty fruit. He likes it. The other one, this says one of the two. So other one, anas anasnan. Anya means the other one. Anasnan, uh, not eating it, never eats it. Abhichakashiti, he just looks around. The other one doesn't eat it and is just looking around. Hmm? What does it mean? Two birds with beautiful wings born together. This is not a good word to say born together. They have always been together, so to say. They are companion and inhabit the same tree. One eats tasty fruits thereof, and the other one, not eating, gazes the former as well as the other things. Now the metaphor is the tree represents, the tree is always going through transformation, cyclic changes. It is growing, and then the leaves fall and the new leaves come. So, this represents what is called transientness. So, as we know, the universe is transient. Our body is also transient. Blood is circulating every moment. Mind is also transient. Different thoughts comes, different ideas come, and flickering mind. So all the things that are transient, that are made of matter, and that is reflected by the term Viksham. Even the root of this word Viksham is interesting. Chidyate. Viksha means something that can be chiseled. So you can chisel it out into pieces, 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 until it bakes into the smallest piece. So that is what the universe we live in. All the things that are visible and even invisible particles, they can be broken into the final minute particle. The bird one that eats the fruits, we are the conscious beings, humans, animals, birds, all those who have consciousness. And the proof of consciousness is the taste of experience. It gives us joy and pain. If I hit this desk doesn't feel any pain, but if somebody hits me, I feel the pain, is it not? So I am a conscious being, and that consciousness is reflected here in terms of he is eating the fruit and he finds it tasty, is it not? So experience can be joyful or painful, but here the positive, joyful experience has been highlighted. Hmm? So this bird uh, is enjoying the fruit of it. The other bird reflects the supreme consciousness, who is the maker of the universe, and indeed who is the dispensing the justice. Because in this particular context here, this is the fruit of the tree is actually fruit or reward of his actions, what is called karma phal. So there is a law of karma. So if there is a law of karma, there is a lawmaker and somebody is enforcing the law. So this is the bird that is also conscious being that has been existing since I have been existing. That is what is Sayuja. Sakhaya, we are actually companions. We are never away from each other, though I may not realize it. And he is merely managing the universe, administrator, so to say, including the rewards that I gain from my past karma, is it not? So that is what is the meaning, the metaphor and meaning of this particular plate that has been found Indus Valley civilization excavations, earlier they used to be dated about 5,000 years, but now their dating has gone back to about 8 to 10,000 years ago. So, those people probably were inspired by this passage, and this is a pictorial representation of this metaphor, which is in this particular passage, that there are two kinds of consciousness. In Patanjali's philosophy, this is called Purush, the bird one, and this is Purush Vishesh, who is maker of the universe and is also dispenser of the justice, etc., etc. And also is, has the knowledge. That's why he has made the universe. So, and his actions are what Patanjali says, Klesh Kaham Vipako Apayamishta, that is one point. If I could show you easily, it is in with me here, 1.24. Klesh Kaham Vipakashaya Apayamishta Purush Vishesha Ishwaya. What he means is, he doesn't do any karma due to clash, so there is no clash here, so there is no resultant karma, so there is no ripening of that karma, so there is no fruits of his actions. So, this is what we are in that cycle, but he is not in that cycle. He does karma, but his karmas are slightly different, they are not, they don't originate from avidya or clash. This is the next slide. I just borrowed the same picture. Here the statement goes, Yatya Suparna Ametasya Bhagam Animesham Vidatha Abhiswayanti. Ino Vishwasya Bhuvanasya Gopaha Sa Ma Dhiya Pakamatya Vivesha. So, out of us, out of this kind of birds, there are some people who are called as dhi, and they are, like Patanjali kind of a wise people. They are dhi people. Dhi means it is coming from root dharan. They have acquired that higher level of wisdom gained from meditation and all that. So I am saying, I am a common man. I am saying, may it happen to me. Ma means to me, mom. Sa means this kind of wise people. Can they share with me their wisdom? So here I am hoping or requesting a wise person to guide me with his words of wisdom. That, what is that? That other than the fruits of the tree, there is another joyful experience. That joyful experience is characterized by Amrit, because all the other joyful experiences have finite lifetimes. This is Amrit, means it never dies, it is permanent. And that is what I can get. Vidatha means if I intelligently, put into effort. So this is an effort prior to which I have made intelligent choices. So with is for vidya, knowledge. Arth is I have prefaced it. So my efforts are prefaced by knowledge. What is that knowledge? Abhiswayanti. That has been spoken to me by these kind of people who have realized that knowledge. And now I am hearing them. Hearing a piece of words of wisdom is second order knowledge. First order knowledge is to realize that, to really absorb it by direct experience. And that way, I am also that bird with beautiful wing, but I will have a taste of animation, means it is uninterrupted. So that is what Amrit is, uninterrupted. That will be, which is actually existing throughout the universe. Vishwa Bhuvanasya means all the planets and stars and galaxies. So that's what I have translated here. May those people who are in this category, having realized him, this Purush Vishesh, that pervades through all stars and galaxies. So this is an all-pervading consciousness, everywhere in all stars and galaxies in the universe. May these be special, realized wise people enlighten us about the other bird with beautiful wings. You know, so among us there are some knowledgeable people, and I wish that those knowledgeable people, wise people, enlighten me about this special bird wherein so that I find immortality. Immortality is from 2 points that I go away from, disconnect from this transient world, because transient world is by definition, it is dying and taking birth. So once you say something is changing with moment to moment, it is dying and taking birth. So when I say I am not part of that transientness, that I am immortal, also it includes that my happiness is uninterrupted and is supreme happiness, Amrita. So these two passages together gives us an idea. The reality is I am on a tree, other bird is watching me, but it doesn't have to be just like that. I just should not treat that the taste of the fruit is the ultimate taste. There is something beyond that, and that I can be guided by those who are within my group, but they are wiser people. So, this I would say was answer to the question that came to me by email. Okay, we are ready for any other discussion. We have two permanent members here, so let's see. I am sorry. You have to unmute yourself, or you know, can you unmute yourself? Yeah, you unmute.
Yeah, I think I've done it.
That is.
It might annoy Inigo a bit because I may use a few Hindi words. Inigo is something I want to know. I mean, slowly I'm realizing that you have done thorough uh, study of Vedas as well, and I used to listen people who knew much about Vedas and rather had it by heart, but they were in Bhakti Marg. So, one day I was thinking while meditating that I was telling that I keep talking to my mind, and every day the tone changes. Some days depending on my mood. So I wanted to ask you a question, which may be after the story that I know, and I would like you to say whether what I know is correct or not. And then I'll ask you that my relationship with mind should be in what manner. So the story goes like that as per the Vedas, the human body is defined as a chariot, a rath, which has 10 horses. So 10 horses are 5 Gyan Indriyas, 5 Karm Indriyas. And the rope through the nose that goes to the man who rides it, that rope is is the mind. So the mind controls all the 10 Indriyas, and that rope from all 10 horses, it goes to the man who is driving it, Rathwan, we can say coachwan, that is Buddhi. So Buddhi holds that rope which is coming from all 10 horses, 10 Indriya, and the passenger is the soul. And that is what God says, that I've given you this chariot. When you're born, come and meet me. So first I wanted to understand whether this concept is correct as per Vedic, because I had very strong faith in this, the person who had told me, and it made a lot of sense that all Indriyas are being controlled by mind, and that mind needs to be controlled by Buddhi. And then now the Buddhi is basically the Buddhi. which is not able to control the mind. The whole, the quarrel or the fight is if the intellect or the buddhi can control the mind well, the mind, can, take the rath or those 10 indriyas or the horses in the right direction. So I want to know whether this concept is correct. Question number two is that mind is part of us. And if I've taken million births, the mind was with us, with me. Now, I know I am the Swami, I am the master of my mind, I am the master of my all 10 indriyas. So morning when we meditate, there are transactional analysis, the father to child, adult to adult. I mean, what should be the, some days you are harsh or some days you behave as a friend, mind, oh, hold on, good things are going to happen, just be patient, no thoughts, please. So in what relationship should we treat the mind? We means the buddhi. What should be the ideal transaction or transactional analysis, when we are taught that do I teach my mind or uh, ask my mind as a master, as a friend, or as a parent? And now, I mean, we realize that we cannot get away with mind. So all good things, bad things, even if I have to get a knowledge during meditation, unless mind supports, it's not possible. So mind is everything actually. If I look at something, if I eat, if mind is not involved, I derive no pleasure or pain. So even if I get enlightenment during that process of meditation, after many years or whatever, how do I treat my mind?
Very good, very good. This is a very practical question. Let me phrase it in a short manner so that we can focus. The question number one here is the metaphor of me as a human being in terms of riding a chariot. Is it having origin from Vedas? And how does it explain the thing? Then the second part of the question is the practical aspect. Ideally, one will say the passenger has the authority, and once he has given a command, the driver should take him to that place. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But we know it that life is not that simple. I want something, but my own mind, being so many distractions, I have given him a command. I want to read this book, but then there are distractions coming. So this is a real life issue. How do we really, uh, how do we evaluate the situation for our own purpose? Let's see. So I have a diagram, so might as well look at it. And the origin is the Yajurveda, so that may take me some time to find out. But Yajurveda, it is 34th chapter and 6th mantra. Maybe I can, take some more time and find that out probably. It shouldn't take that long. So the mantra goes like Susarathi Ashwaniv Yan Manusyan Niyate Bhishu Bhevajina Iva Hit Patishtam Yadajayam Javishtam Tanme Manaha Shiva Sankalpamastu. So this is a Yajurveda 34th chapter, a very nice description of human mind. And towards the end, the 6th mantra, we are being told as if uh, your mind is your chauffeur, is your driver, and he can, as default, he takes you to all the places in the world. But If you have a proper relationship with it, then the same chauffeur can bring your chariot to me also. That is what is explained here. Let me show you. I am trying to cut it out. Good thing is I have many such books on my laptop, but it just takes time. Yeah. Well, I should have actually thought of it. That's what I say. Sometimes if I know the question, then it's better. Now here it is. Yes, I have it now. I like to see the original in Sanskrit, so that will be, yes, now what is in front of you this is the origin of it. Yajurved, 34th chapter, 6th month. It goes like, sorry, there is no Roman script here, but let me just read it. Susharathi. This is Sarathi means that chauffeur. Su
Yes.
is very well appointed. After all, he has been appointed as my driver by that supreme being. So there is no fault in it. Susarathi, Ashwan, the horses. Iu means, this is an analogy, a metaphor only. Yat means that. Manushyan, all Manushya term means all the human being. So the term Manushya is basically all the common folks. What do the common people do it? They have wonderful chauffeur, but they use it uh, anne niyati. Niyate means here and there, meandering. We have no idea. A common man has no purpose of life. He has no high, I want to achieve this in my life. They just are moving around and just enjoying the day-to-day journey, so to say. Sometimes we just drive in a scenic road. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just enjoying the beauty of the surroundings. Now he is saying, Abhishubhi Vajina Iv. There is another Iv that is very deep, profound meaning here. What he's saying is, the Abhishubhi Vajin, these are very fast moving horses, very fast moving, and we know it. Our senses are very fast. But, if it comes to that, you have a very strong ropes to rein them in, that is what. It's not that you can make an excuse that I have no means to guide my horses. And then this whole mind, what is being, who is my sarathi, and that is providing the ropes, that is hit patishtam. Hit means where I am residing. It's very close to me. Yad ajayam. Ajayam means, when things are made of matter, particularly these gross objects, they get decay, they degrade with time. So here we are being, assured that your mind, your chauffeur, of course, it is made of matter, tiny particles, but it never gets old, it never degrades or decays in strength. Javistham, it always maintains its strength, And like body is going to get old and lose its strength, but on the on the other hand, our mind is never going to get old. I'm not talking about brain. We are talking about mind that came along with me and will go away
Yeah.
along with me. So, the Vedic concept of mind is different. So, that we are being assured is never going to degrade and never going to lose its strength. So, that's what I was showing you. And the same thing has entered into Kat Upanishad, where Nachiketa is asking question to Yam, and Yam is also using this metaphor. Then this metaphor has entered into Gita also. So, of course, the diagram I was trying to show you is a Gita diagram, but here we don't have to worry, specificities. So, this is the me, you know, this is my chauffeur, my buddhi actually. So, within
Yes.
that Vedic concept of mind, you are aware that there is a, there are units, multiple units, is it not? So this is like in the Sankhya diagram. This is me, the passenger in that chariot, and this is the drivers, what is called Sarathi. Sarathi is here
Buddhi.
Buddhi,
Yeah.
and Sarathi is controlling these sensory organs, sense 5 plus 5 motor organs, through the strong ropes, and the ropes are here, this link the manas, Now ahankara is a sandwich between these two units, you know. It is implicitly working in this function of knowledge acquisition, and as well as in action, activating the actions part. So this is really, this is counted as the third unit, because this is implicitly here also and is also here now. So in the metaphor, the chauffeur is this, the reins are this, the ropes and the horses are this. Usually we talk in terms of these five, but no problem, we can talk in terms of 5 plus 5, 10 horses, no problem. So now the part two of the question was, if it is so simple, like I enter into a taxi, I tell taxi driver, take me to the airport, and he takes me to the airport, there is never a problem. But why this chauffeur is not working the way I want it? But then, you will have to realize he works implicitly from all the data. This is kind of a GPS and all that data which is coming not in this life, last 30, 40 years, but also in past lives. We have been gathering all sorts of things. So this is always, both of them are always doing what is here. This is the storage device of ours, where we have to admit only we have put in the data here, is it not? We cannot get away from it. So mind is actually the aggregate of all these three units. So, but the good thing is we are not helpless. We have made our mind the way it is today. And if I am really determined, I can want to take charge of my life. I should just, it's so simple, just feed in new data, is it not? If you start feeding in new data, it will take time, but that will also show result. So that's what is practice is all about.
Yeah.
Nowhere anybody has told, the same Yajurved mantras are telling you do practice and you modify your data bank so that your mind is now the way you want it, and then you have a better harmony. And indeed, there are occasions like when you are watching a TV serial, which you like very much, 25 minutes, then your mind has no distraction, is it not? Because your mind knows you love it, you like it, is it not? So it is you, if you really love meditation, if it is really love, your mind will be the first to know it. And then he won't disturb you in your journey of meditation. If you want to like something new, if you have developed that love, then your mind knows it. So remember, any distraction, to you it is distraction, but from your mind, your personal secretary, from his point of view, that is what is more important for you. That's why he is throwing in all that, is it not? So if he is, like you are listening to me, but if something else comes in your mind, then in the opinion of your mind, that is more important.
More important.
In the opinion of your mind. Now, in the opinion of your mind, if you want to change the opinion of your mind, you have to feed in new data, is it not? Then he will know it. Oh, my master has different interests now. He is changing. So that is what is your personality. Whatever is, that is why it is called ahankar. Aham means me. That is truly my personality. All that is contained in that vessel, that is my personality. but it is so good. I am not bound by that. That is all my past. From today on, I can change it. That's what in mainstream they say you can rewire your brain, is it not? So this terminology may be different, but with new practice, everybody, that's what they are attempting. So you used a word like my mind is my master. Of course, ideally, that's what that metaphor is trying to tell you. You know, the passenger is the master, the driver obeys the command. That's what Ishwa is trying to tell us. Look, you are the master, but if you delegate the whole thing to your personal secretary, then you complain 10 years later that my secretary is doing this and that. But you yourself delegated all those functions.
Yeah.
If you didn't delegate it, like a general manager, if he takes, oh, so many papers are coming to me, this kind of leave applications from lower level of workers, they should not come to me, you can sign them. So now once he had delegated that function, then he tells 1 year later, I didn't grant him the leave. Then the personal secretary will say, I granted him because you delegated me that authority. You know, except for senior executives, all others, I was granting the leave. So, when you delegate the operations, you should have been careful, is it not? So, well, these are metaphors. So, the chariot is a metaphor. The CEO and personal secretary relationship is all these are metaphors. But just the purpose is to explain the situation. But finally, one has to take the charge of his life. Let me read. There is a comment here. Can you please clarify mind, Atma, and consciousness? English word and Sanskrit meaning. Thank you. Yeah, this is very important. Semantics. Just like when I was giving the previous answer, I said Vedic mind is different from the brain, because if you are talking to a mainstream person, for him, the brain is the mind as well as the consciousness. So we have to be careful. We have to be on the same page, so to say, that what I mean by a particular term, that the other person should understand it. Otherwise, I am saying something, but he or she may interpret it indifferently. This is very important. Let's go back to the Sankhya diagram. And the question is, what is three terms? Mind, Atma, and consciousness. And then English and Sanskrit words and meanings, and so on and so forth. Okay, very good. Because when I show you a slide, I may not be able to see this, chat. So
Can I add one thing here,
let me see. Can I see the chat?
sir?
Yes, what is it?
Can I add to this question? I
Yeah,
have read some books and there are words like Atman, Brahman.
yeah,
But are they different than Brahm and Atma? I mean, they really confuse me. Is
yeah,
Brahman
yeah. It
and
is there is
Atman?
Atman is what is called Pratipadik, the original word. And then the Pratipadik goes through declensions, depending on the 8 vibhaktis. So, like the word is Rama, now it becomes Rama, Ramena, Ramai, Gaja, Gajai. So, all those declensions. So, Atman is a pure word, but once it is used in a sentence, then it is likely to adopt like Atmen, Atma, Atmae. It may go through certain changes, but the word is Atma.
Okay.
Now, Atman is a general term for something that is conscious. Now, as you know, Purush is also like that. Purush is also a general term for consciousness because now Purush has an etymology that it resides in a space. So to give that meaning that I am a Purush, so I have been as if enveloped by mind and body, etc., etc. Is it not? So the word Atma is consciousness, but Purush is also consciousness, but it has a different etymology, But you can say they are synonyms. Now, the consciousness is ours, which we have discussed last week also when I showed you the stars and galaxies in the sky, you know. So the consciousness that is all pervading, that is called as Brahman. So Brahman is Atman as well. Brahman is also a Purush, but then we say it is Purush Vishesh. It is a peculiar, special Purush, so to say. And that's what the word Brahman also will mean. What I'm trying to say is the word Atma may refer to both that me, my Purush, as well as that infinite Purush or Purush Vishesh. So you have to be very careful in what context all this is being said. So Atma may mean my consciousness, my soul, as well as that infinite soul also. So anyway, let's move on. So here the question was the Atma and the mind, and I have to see that.
I distracted you.
Yeah, I have a short memory. Yeah, yeah. Third word was consciousness. Okay, so this is Atma, mind, and consciousness. And usually I rely on Sankhya diagram. It's a schematic. So this is me, and I can say this is my Atma. I can also say this is my Purush. Now, it has certain, it has some inherent characteristic. That inherent characteristic is my consciousness, you know. So, as if I am Atma or Purush, and my characteristic is consciousness. Is that so? But it is such an inherent that that consciousness itself is Purush, because there is nothing like as if this is my possession. If I say this is my car is a separate entity, but there is a relationship that I own it, is it not? In that way, I don't say this is my consciousness. So consciousness is not my possession. I am consciousness. So that slight thing you have to appreciate it. And that consciousness itself is given a name, Atma, Purush, etc. Okay. Now this consciousness has some meaning. It gives rise to certain powers. What are its powers? Powers is what is called in Sanskrit terms are, so consciousness, Sanskrit term is chit. You know, you are aware of the term for Ishwar we use Satchidananda Swarup. So he has three intrinsic inherent attributes, namely existence, consciousness, and then super happiness, something like. Now we don't have super happiness as our intrinsic attribute, but we are existent, sat, and chit also. We are inherent consciousness. So there is another term for this, like for Ishwar, the term is Satchidananda Swarup. For this, in Sankhya, he uses the term Chidrup. Chit and Rup. Swarup is my inherent characteristic. So I can never be away from that. So in Vedic terminology, Atma or Purush is an entity that may sometimes be used for we, the individual living beings, conscious beings, but may also refer to that infinite consciousness. And then if it is for infinite consciousness, then it may be like Purush Vishesh or Ishwar or many other hundreds of names, including Brahma. But we are, of course, talking in our context. So I am Atma, Purush, and by very intrinsic nature, I am Chidrup, meaning consciousness is inherently me. You know, there is nothing like me and my consciousness, two different things. My consciousness makes me Atma because I am conscious. Now the term comes mind, and as I showed you Yajurveda 34th chapter, the ending was Tanme Manaha, you know, Tanme Manaha Shiv Sankalpamastu. So let's look at this. So you can see Tat Me, I am sorry it doesn't have a Roman version, but you will have to believe me. The last quarter is Tanme Mana. There are four quarters here. The last quarter is Tanme Mana Shiv Sankalpamastu. This is Tat and Me. Tat means that mind which has been described in foregoing. Me is Mera, mind. Mana is mind. May it happen. Astu means may it happen. Shiv Sankalp, Shubh Sankalp, positive attitude. So may it happen that my mind bears positive attitude. So here the word mind has come as the word mana. Hmm? So you will have to see that this is the context here. So mind here has come for the whole. So in the Yajurveda term, we saw mind is the whole what is called inner set of instruments, antakaran. This whole thing has been referred to as mind. And there are six passages. They are describing all the things that my mind does. And the sixth one that we discussed, this same mind that takes me to all the things in the world can bring me as an individual to that supreme being also. So in the sixth passage, we are being told that this mind is capable of bringing me to that supreme being also, which is a slightly out of the world journey. But that's what meditation is all about. If the same mind cooperates with me, it will take me to him also. Okay, so I was showing you that passage because there the word man has been used for the entire aggregate. And now you will see in Sankhya the word man has been used only for this unit, is it not? So I'm showing you, these are the complexities many people are not fully aware of. Like the word Atma may refer to a human being soul as well as infinite soul. In the same manner, the word mana may refer to this, the third component of mind, or may also refer to the entire aggregate mind also. You know. Now coming to Sankhya, the terminology is my mind as a whole is working as three units which are interlinked. First unit he calls buddhi. Second unit, which I have translated as intellect, my discriminatory ability. Then second is ahankar, the memory, and manas is the link. That is what is linking to the body organs, sensory organs and body organs. You know. And again, here there is confusion. I don't want to criticize too much because ahankar has been translated wrongly by many as ego. This is simply my storage device where past knowledge, past action, and past experiences are stored. So now I come here back here. What I was saying was this is my intrinsic consciousness, and this has three extraordinary powers. The power is Jyatatva, Bhoktatva, Kartatva. These are Sanskrit terms to be translated into English as I have the ability to know, you know, ability to feel and experience, and ability to act upon the surroundings. So these powers are here. He is the kind of the Purush, the ultimate authority, presiding entity, you know. and or to say CEO, Chief Executive of the organization. But he cannot exercise these powers without the mind and the body. So knowledge is known by him finally, but when it is depicted here, experience is felt by it, but when this has been embellished by him, or actions are taken by him, but they are activated at this point, and then the command goes out like this. So, it has powers, consciousness is its inherent attribute. It has three powers. To exercise those three powers, it needs the instruments of mind and body. The mind as a whole is this three layers, but that is called as man, also as antakaran, also as sukshma sharir in Sanskrit, and one of its unit is also called as man. That may sometimes cause confusion. Now coming to the main stream, because he wants to know, the question is referring to how do we communicate with the mainstream. In the mainstream, the terms are as far, because I cannot be an authority on the mainstream. I have the authority of the Vedic knowledge, particularly what Sankhya and Yoga philosophy are talking about human mind. But I will just, just as a layperson, I will say, when I read the mainstream literature or talk to somebody, they use the term mind. As if there are many possibilities. One possibility is the speaker who is speaking to me, he may mean by mind the electrochemical functions that are taking place in his brain, and because brain is functioning, that is what is characterized as life, and the brain itself has become, from mainstream point of view, from a mainstream scientist point of view, broadly, the brain is the seat of consciousness, final ultimate seat of my consciousness, and is my mind, both, Of course, some common people, layperson may say that within brain there is something that is my consciousness, or within brain there is something that is my mind. But these are layperson's view. I think the majority of the mainstream scientists will subscribe to the idea that the brain, when it is functioning, it has different levels of functioning. Like when I go to sleep, it is at its bare minimum level of functioning. And then when I am in half sleep, then I am in a fully awake, then it is fully conscious. So the level of functioning of the brain gives rise to my functioning as a conscious, as an unconscious person, or as a subconsciously, things like that. And that is what is my mind. My mind is the thinking, emotions, all that is also is in the brain. And they have identified different components of brain that are more active in certain phases of, our 24 hours. So I think that's what I will say in answer to this question. There is a high level of complexity. Having used the term brain, I don't know if I should say it, otherwise it gets, but let me say it because that's where there is a lot of confusion. You know, now I am, adding to the answer I have already given, So take it as a appendix. If you understand it, it's fine, otherwise no problem. In appendix, what I am saying is, a Vedic philosopher also is aware of this brain, the nervous system, and he calls it as pranic domain. In his view, this is pran, and this is a family, not only my brain, nervous system, my cardiac, my respiratory system, my digestive and renal system. So in his view, these are background forces, non-voluntary forces, and he will simply say, when I am in deep, dreamless sleep, when I am consciously not using my body and mind instruments, then whatever is happening in this system is attributed to prana. Now that is very significant. His statement is prana. Of course, the scientist will also say these are non-voluntary forces. He will say this is naturally happening. So, but in Vedic scientist view, nature is nothing but embodiment of Ishwar. So he will say Ishwar is doing that. Okay. Now Ishwar is another consciousness. So that raises a complex picture of coexisting consciousness within me. So this me, the human being, I am consciously using body and mind. That's the instrument given to me by some supreme authority, and he does so many things in my background, you know, making my brain, heart, and all this function that enables me to use my instruments of body and mind. Okay, that is our way to look at it, Vedic scientist view. Now, this becomes complicated now in the sense within this system now, two consciousness are working together. Are they in conflict or what? Various other issues now arise. Now, what we are saying is, I am a user of this system, but this system is made usable by certain forces that infinite consciousness is doing, which is all pervading and is ensuring that my system is usable. So brain now is not my brain now. It is my head, my heart, everything. But he is ensuring that such and such things should happen when I am awake, when I am in sleep, and so on and so forth. Now the question arises, what is death then? Death is now, from mainstream scientist point of view, at one point 30 years ago, it was say heart stopped functioning. Now they have, he defined death. When brain dead, then it is death. When brain has stopped functioning. From Vedic scientist point of view, when brain has stopped functioning, that means this system is no more livable, and then I, along with my mind, depart from the system. You know. So we will look at, from my Vedic view, death is two events generally happening, taking place simultaneously. The brain stops functioning. That is a signal that this system is no more livable, and then I depart from here along with my mind, so to say. That is our way to look at it. And if you look at it, that's what I have shared with you a couple of times. It is just a matter of semantics, that otherwise both mean the same thing. From a scientist point of view, brain is the finality, but from Vedic scientist point of view, brain is final, as far as the livability of this housing is concerned. But then I am the occupant in that tiny cave, and then, yes, brain has stopped functioning, so I must depart from here. It is nothing more I can do it. But so, now there are some near death events and all that, where these two things, accidental deaths, where these two things don't happen simultaneously. There is some time frame, and like in cardiac arrest, and in that time frame, some doctors can somehow revive me because I haven't yet left. I'm still waiting. So, if then that 1 or 2 minutes, if I can be revived, if my vital organs can come back to that working conditions, then I have no more left. It's a very, very complex situation. So, it's not that scientists are not intelligent. They are very, very intelligent people. But, they just, the change is here, something from Vedic scientist point of view, he has a very bold statement in Sankhya, for example. We do not see matter exhibiting consciousness. So, he just say that consciousness has to come from something that is non-material. That is his starting point. But from modern scientist point of view, modern scientist is not able to visualize something exists, but that is not a particle, not a material particle, So there is a problem, but we have no idea what reality is. Who will know the absolute reality? But sure, everybody is in his comfort zone and the life goes on. Anyway, so